Welcome to the Mexpreneurs Podcast, the podcast about the stories of Mexican tech startup founders who are building world-class, fast-growing companies and having a positive impact at a large scale. My name is Sergio Chavez. I'm a Mexican based in Germany, a tech startup founder, executive, and mentor, and your host. Today we welcome back Juan Carlos Elizalde together with his co-founder, Pamela Elizalde. Juan Carlos and Pamela, together with Luis Eduardo Barragán, Arturo Cortés, María Fernanda Torres, and Ivan Pérez, are the founders of LightEd Play, an EdTech startup based in Mexico City. LightEd Play keeps the mind active and makes learning a fun experience through artificial intelligence and gamification. Its lighthouse product, Zoombers, is an app for children in elementary and middle school which changes emotions towards mathematics into positive and happy moments and also fosters the development of STEM competencies and 21st century skills. Zoombers is helping thousands of students at schools across Mexico, Latin America, USA, and Spain. LightEd Play has received multiple international awards and recently established a legal entity in the USA as part of its international expansion strategy. Juan Carlos is CEO and Pamela is art director. In addition, they are siblings, brother and sister. Juan Carlos is responsible for the overall company leadership, strategy, and go-to-market. Pamela leads user experience, user interface, and graphic and brand design to make Zoombers fun and appealing for children. In addition, Luis Eduardo is responsible for the technology backend and cloud infrastructure, Arturo for the video games conception and creation, Ivan for the math curriculum and the AI engine development, and María Fernanda for customer success and building relationships with schools. Together, all six founders covered the critical domains to build and scale an EdTech venture like LightEd Play. I hope you enjoy. Support for this episode comes from Partnership Leaders, the leading community of partnership professionals and executives in SaaS and tech with over 1,500 members globally. We're living the decade of the ecosystem, and every CEO needs to become a partnership leader. Just take a look at the top companies in the world today like Microsoft, Google, and Apple. They have all become platform companies, and partnership executives in IT have been the ones leading these transformations. Partnership Leaders brings these executives together and is building a playbook to enable CEOs and business leaders across industries to transform their organizations into platform companies. If you're a tech startup founder, Partnership Leaders is the place for you to learn how to leverage partnerships to take your business to the next level. I'm a member of PL and co-host of the Germany chapter and have seen firsthand the richness and value of this incredible community. Visit partnershipleaders.com to learn more and to apply to become a member. Make sure to mention in your application that Mexpreneurs referred you so you can receive a special price if your application is accepted. Hello, Juan Carlos. Pam, welcome to the show.
Hello, Sergio. We are very happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Hello, I'm very happy to be here too.
Thank you to both of you for being here. And Juan Carlos, please tell us, what is LightEd Play?
Well, LightEd Play is a holding company of Zoombers, which is a platform that allows to make math fun, engaging, and understandable to everyone, especially for the elementary school kids. And we are doing it through artificial intelligence and also through video games. So we can actually motivate the students to compete and collaborate with other children around the world, participate in international tournaments, and they can start learning math in a very fun and playful way that they actually enjoy. At the same time, we give teachers a lot of information around what do their students need to play in order to improve their learning experience, how they can personalize depending on their learning needs. And well, it's a whole experience that we are seeking to give to the students, to the teachers, to the whole school community, so they can have a great learning result.
That's a lot of ground you're covering. But what's the underlying problem behind? Like, why does LightEd Play exist in the first place? What is that big challenge that you found that you're solving with LightEd Play?
Well, it's that we have seen a lot of people, and maybe many are also one of them, who are afraid of math, who feel like it's like the worst nightmare that they have. It's like, I don't want to see math again in my whole life. They even take career decisions depending on that. It's very common to see people in high schools thinking, I'm going to choose this career because it doesn't have math. They are running away from it, and it shouldn't be like that. Math at the end is something that it's everywhere. It's something that it's usable in the daily life. And all this way of thinking that math builds in your brain helps you during your whole life and opens a lot of opportunities. And that is something that we are changing. Instead of making it that worst nightmare, we are making it, as I mentioned, something fun and something engaging.
And is it something very different to what schools, because if I understood correctly, you're working not only with students, but also supporting teachers. The way things are currently being done in schools, it's just not working. The way that maths are being taught at schools, is it lacking engagement, lacking interest? What exactly is lacking, and why is Zoombers and LightEd Plays such a great complement? And Pam, you can probably share with us a little bit of your thoughts there.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are so many different educational systems and methodologies. Some are more accurate and some aren't. Or they are very focused on old school style. And just remember how we learned before. We even see, for example, in one classroom, when our mathematician partner get in the room, everyone was like, oh, the mathematician. Like it was scary something, and that doesn't need to be like that at all. Our generations and previous generations were used to think that math must be complicated, and they are not really for everyone. Maybe you even have a talent for that and you're just stuck in a non-personalized environment and you need to be with the same group condition, and that's not that accurate for each kid for now. So giving them the opportunity to have something personalized and really fun without even talking about the fear, that's out of the table right now. For us, that's how Zoombers is helping them, for example. It's a complete different mindset for them. So instead of approaching to the class with fear or some mentality like Juan Carlos was saying previously, they are just eager to have a math class. It's just like recess. They are having fun. They are like, I really want more multiplications and divisions. And that's possible right now. I don't remember we had something like that before. It's completely different. Also, the experience for them. We are not making just the same exercises from the book and turn into digital, because there are so many platforms that already does that. We are really making a whole experience different for them, that they are thrilled to have more math content. And that's completely different from our generation, as you can remember, and almost every other previous generation. So that's part of the importance here.
I can totally relate to that. I remember I had some fantastic math teachers and some that actually were the entire opposite. It's pretty much like a roulette, no? Like you could be lucky to get a fantastic teacher. You probably don't have that luck and you then are completely turned off from math. But Pam, you mentioned two things in that statement. One is personalization and one is fun. Like what exactly do you do in terms of personalization and in terms of fun?
About the fun is completely different to approach to this subject with the same language as the kids have. For example, they are used to some video games. Whether if you like it or not, these kids are born into technology and they have a completely natural language with computers and iPads and mobile. We have designed that each click they do in our platforms is fun for them, is motivating. They are able to make their own avatars, they gain their challenges and coins, and they have to decide if they are going to buy a power-up. They also have rewards. They have rewards of everything. And this is, we already have more than 400 dynamics, different dynamics through the video games. And the challenges are also, personalized. Juan Carlos is about to tell you more about that. But they see a completely different class than the traditional one. They have different kinds of games. The multiplayer, for example, we even socialize the mathematics. We love that concept. We didn't even invite it. The teachers made it, and they were really engaged and happy with that also, because you can play as they usually play with their friends, but making math and improving their skills.
On the other hand, the personalization, there is a lot behind it because it's very, very interesting. We have an AI engine that analyzes each student interaction. So we can start to actually understand what do they need to play in order to improve their learning outcomes. In this case, for example, if you are very good at math and you are ready to learn some new stuff, the AI engine will identify it and start to give you some new contents. But if you are struggling with a specific topic, maybe your problem is not that topic at all. Maybe your problem is way behind. Maybe you are in third grade and you need some contents from second grade or even first grade that you didn't got the right roots and you are struggling with them. So the AI engine can start to identify that and start giving you content to give a better background around the previous concepts. And later on, it will get back again to the actual topic that you were struggling with. But now that you have the actual background that you needed, then you will be able to overcome it and you will be able to respond to it. And everything around it is, as Pamela mentioned, as a game, because the idea is to mix that personalization with fun and learning. And that join between the learning and the fun part is very, very important for us, because at the end, that's something that will keep the kids with the curiosity. They will want to continue playing, they will want to continue learning. I would love to give a very small example. It's more about what happened. It's a small story because, for example, it has been so successful that when a teacher in a school was starting to see what we were doing and everything, she was like first a little bit skeptic. She was like, I'm not pretty sure, but she started using it. And turns out she became one of our most biggest supporters. She was really, really happy. What she was doing was to put other kids in a line before they could go to the playground and play. And in every student, she was asking them a math question before she used Zoombers. And when they answered the question, they went out and they will be able to go out and play. When she started using Zoombers, what happened was that the students, instead of going out to the playground, they went back in line. They were starting to say, oh, I want to play another level, so I want to get back in the line and I will wait for my turn. And she was like mind blown. She was like, this never happens. How is that my kids want to keep on playing with math and learning math instead of going out to the playground? So her point of view completely changed, and it was very, very interesting moment.
Something very special we have done is to personalize also the teacher's experience of teaching, because it's easy for them. Usually they are forgotten, like everything is so focused on the kids. And yes, we are focused on the kids, but we don't forget about the teachers. They can adapt Zoombers to their class. They have different tools that help them. So they are eager to use it. It's so easy for them, so useful. And also the kids are eager to have math class. That's the change on these new generations that we are very happy to achieve.
And yeah, what I also wanted to ask you is like, what exactly does the math class look like? Because I can imagine that this is also a big evolution from the traditional math classes where you have all the kids sitting down, you go page by page through a book, or the teacher just shows a concept and everyone is expected to repeat that concept. How does a new math class enabled by Zoombers actually looks like? And what is the role of the teacher in all of these?
It's a very fun class, I have to say.
I hadn't expected any different.
It has many different ways to be applied. For example, in class, we have seen teachers that like to show to the students the first levels of the games, and they ask their students to continue playing on their devices, whether it's a computer or a mobile device, or depends on what infrastructure do they have. And they sometimes compete to see which one is able to end all the levels before. There are other teachers that are more like, I would like to collaborate a little bit more and I want to solve the whole problem in class. And she's asking the different students, and while she's showing them in the classroom, she's always like, okay, now we are seeing this thing, and now who can help me solve this level and who can help me solve this other one. And on the other hand, we also have games that allow the students to compete or collaborate between them. So there are some classes even where the teacher is playing with their students at the same time. So they are able to play with the teacher in a competition game of mental math. And I can say that when a kid wins, whether it's that the teacher wanted to lose and give the student the victory, or because the student is so good that he actually beat the teacher, because it happens, and they are very, very good at the game. And it becomes a really, really engaging experience through the whole class.
And I think what's important is you're not talking about replacing the teacher, no? So the teacher still plays a very relevant role as a facilitator, no? But just the role evolved significantly from the old style, no?
Yes, actually, a good teacher can be someone that inspires you to learn more and to make much more things. And a bad one can also make you hate the topic. The teacher will always have a very important role during the class.
It's not only about the class. That's the thing. It's a whole experience. For example, we also make tournaments, mental math tournaments. But what schools were used to do in that tournaments were like, okay, and the national and international tournaments are usually the ones who finish the exam before everyone else and who has more accurate answers. And that's all like a timer. And here we have a whole experience. They are actually eager during the year. They are today asking us for the tournament for this year because it's a huge event for them with video games, everything with video games. So the kids are standing out with their avatars. They communicate with other kids in other parts of the world with emojis only. So it's a very safe place. Moms and dads are very happy for that because kids can express themselves through emojis, and the experience is completely different. They are not only expecting to have the math class, but also the special events like this and the tournament between their schools. And it's all about the math. It's like a football final or something. We made a transmission. The teachers are like so invested, and the parents. It's a complete experience for the school. Even it's bigger than the math class. That's an amazing impact.
And I think that's fantastic. It actually, as you mentioned, expands beyond the classroom, no? Beyond the traditional, 45-minute, 1-hour class. No? It really expands beyond that. And you were mentioning briefly about the parents. So what exactly is the role of parents in this?
They are usually very happy. They have told us that they are really happy because they don't struggle anymore with homework. Mom especially was telling us, I don't have to fight with my kid anymore. He's now happy to make the homework. He's even asking for more. So that was completely different for them. But the role usually is also to support their kids. Understanding, we usually have a talk with the parents, with a group of parents of the schools, to let them know what Zoombers about and know how this tool is going to help their kids. And well, they are also supporting the school.
I definitely see a lot of different value for the kids, for the teachers, for the students. Now, in terms of, let's say, metrics, because of course there's PISA and there's a lot of different metrics that are measured in order to show the progress of kids in terms of their performance of math. So what are some of the examples that you can share in terms of how Zoombers have helped these schools that have implemented Zoombers to advance in those key metrics that are relevant for them?
Well, there is a very interesting result that we just received a few days ago that was of one school that started to implement Zoombers this year. And, the pandemic was a hit to all schools, to everyone, and it had a great impact. And many students had to struggle to get back on the track and to actually get the same results that they were having before the pandemic. In this case, this school was telling us, I would like to get to those levels about in 2 years. And turns out that the school had regained and surpassed those levels in most grades in just this year by using Zoombers also. So it was a great result. They were still struggling with some grades that they had to continue working with, but in many grades they were able to even surpass it. So it was something very interesting. And at the end, that's from the academic side, but also it's not only the academic results that are showing up. We are seeing a lot of different results from the emotion and the feeling that the kids have around math. And even in their own companions and their own friends, how they are getting these kind of results. From one place, they are actually enjoying learning math. As we were mentioning, they are getting back in line to continue playing, and that is something that didn't happen. And we have kids that don't want to get out of their class because they want to continue playing and they want to continue doing everything. And on the tournament side, for example, many schools have told us about the great results that they are having because now kids are able to make mental calculations very fast and they are very skillful around it. They are seeing some pretty good results around how they are performing. And at the same time, they are still enjoying themselves. But a very important one that this goes with also a small story around it is like, for example, as Pamela was mentioning, the social relationship between the students and the whole community is something that Zoombers is getting a lot of effect. Because, for example, there was one kid that was like not very social around their students and was not very engaged with anyone. And he was always like, okay, no one is talking a lot with him. He's in the corner and no one takes a lot of interest. But he suddenly became one of the finalists of the tournament. And he turned out from not being very much in the attention of the other kids to become the one that was being cheered by all the school and telling them, oh, you're great, you're the best, and now you can do it. And it was a life-changing experience for him because he was like, oh my God, I'm going, I'm seeing everyone cheering for me, and now everyone wants to talk with me and to cheer me up. And those kind of experiences are some things that, as I say, not only in numbers, in the academic results, but also on the emotional side, that are having a great impact in the students.
As Juan Carlos is telling you, the Zoombers is not only about regulation, but about talent detection. And that's something huge for a lot of schools also, and the kids, because they are having such an impact to be on the spotlight when they didn't even knew they were capable of. So right now, the thing is that they were not interested before in the other tools, and they are finding a way to shine and to improve in a very fun way. So this is very different for parents and for teachers. They have thanked us about that kind of examples.
Looking into the EdTech sector, because my understanding is that there's different EdTech tools out there, at least the one that I know, like Khan Academy, which I think is very famous for also facilitating math in some shape or form. What would you say is the secret sauce of Zoombers? Like what makes Zoombers unique, and where is Zoombers positioned in terms of that whole EdTech ecosystem? Because I can imagine that a school, a primary, an elementary school, a secondary school uses different tools. Like where exactly is Zoombers placed and how does it interrelate with the other tools in the ecosystem?
There are many things to say about that answer. And in this case, for example, I can say that from a secret sauce point of view is that it's a whole experience. That's the very first part. As we were mentioning, it is joining the learning side with the fun part. And that is something that many times is not very well seen in many other tools. Like, for example, there are a lot of tools that are like a digital notebook where you are just answering tons of questions and it's like repetition in a whole level. And that's not engaging. That's not even interesting for the kids. That doesn't give them any kind of special feedback or any kind of interest to continue doing it. It becomes a lot like, oh, I have to do this again. It's like I'm filling my homework again, and it's just now a digital version of what I was doing before. When we mix learning and fun, we are changing this perspective completely because they are enjoying what they are doing. But as I mentioned, it's a whole experience because as we were telling, it also very much focuses on giving the teachers a lot of different tools. And we are always behind the teachers, helping them get all the best attention and all the best tools so they can actually work with the students in the best way. They can actually save time because we know that as teachers, they have a lot of work to do and they can rely on Zoombers to actually save them time. They can also know that they can personalize everything with just one click, for example. And okay, I know that each student needs different things, but I don't have the time to do everything by myself. So I can just give a click and let the AI engine to assign the different contents for the students. And we make different events for the school community. We make a lot of different things. The whole experience and this kind of attention to the teachers, to the community, and to allow the students to actually enjoy what they are learning is one of the most important things that we are doing.
And very special thing about our secret sauce, as you were saying, is the team behind it. We have amazing engineers amazing engineers that are making it secure, efficient. The AI algorithm is unique, but we also have the right academic background with the math skills, the mathematician, also the academic part of the team. And we are mixing that with amazing design. I can invite everyone to just take a look at that. The teachers, the people who are in EdTech fields and are very known with some other platforms, they can see it at simple sight as they are starting. So we have the fun, we have the technology, and each part of the thing has their superpower, and this has made Zoombers possible. We are thinking in every detail, every click, and that's part of it.
And you were just mentioning about the team, and I would love to talk a little bit more about that, because my understanding is that it's 6 founders. It's a big founding team, but I would love to learn a little bit more briefly, like what exactly is the role of each of the founders? I have the privilege of talking to both of you, but would love to learn a little bit more, like why is it 6 founders and what exactly does each of the founders bring to the table?
We are 6, but everyone is giving a lot to the table, and we are doing a lot of different things. For example, we have Pamela, who is making all the art design, who is making all the graphic design, and it's also a lot of PR. She has also a lot of relationships that have helped us open new doors in different moments. Is Arturo, who is the man who has a lot of games in his mind and knows a lot of video games. So he is our games programmer and has made a lot of different things and improvements around the game experience. We have also Luis Eduardo, who is great with all the cloud infrastructure. He knows a lot of the technology behind how we can improve the performance of the web portal, about the different things. And he's very much focused on constantly improving and making updates to the web portal and to the whole infrastructure around Zoombers. We have María Fernanda, who has been amazing treating our clients since she is focused on customer success, and she has always been like very attentive of what they need, trying to help them to actually understand what every teacher really needs, how to improve their learning experience, and how they can overcome any kind of doubt they have. She has that kind of follow-up and also is helping us investigate different things around the market. We have also Ivan, who has been also the mathematician mind behind what is Zoombers. He knows about pedagogy, but also is, as I mentioned, a mathematician that is actually making his PhD on AI. So he has a lot of knowledge around it, and he's the mind behind the AI engine, who is improving it constantly and everything. And well, it's also me, who I am like also in a little bit of everything, trying to make everything work, focusing on everything a little bit.
So if I understand correctly, you're covering all the bases that are needed to make such a startup and the business a success, no? Like covering the art part, which we were mentioning, that's a big part of making it fun, no? Making it engaging, the gaming background, no? The back end and all the technology that goes behind, the math aspect with the AI embedded on it, the customer success, and of course your role, Juan Carlos, is on the leadership side. No? So it seems to me that you have all the key bases covered for building a successful team in that side. And beyond the 6 of you, like who else is in the team?
We have different people because although we have the key roles, we are still needing some people to help us in different aspects. For example, in the sales team, we have different people that are helping us reach to schools, get to them, make appointments and make presentations and everything. On the other hand, we also have, since there are a lot of different things to do in the art section, and on the pedagogy part, we also have people that help us make the curriculum adjustments to create new games, to also align them to the local or international curriculums, and to make new content constantly.
And now I would love to learn more about how exactly the culture inside the team works. And also what I would love to learn is like, how big is the company nowadays in terms of reach? Of course, it's a Mexican company, but my understanding is that you're already serving thousands of students, not only in Mexico, but Latin America, US, Spain. How big is that reach that you have? And also, I understand that you have also big events happening in the big milestones for the company in the previous months.
Well, we are actually already with thousands of students in Mexico, Chile, Spain, US, Venezuela, And Colombia, we are seeking to continue growing. We are seeking to get into new schools every time. And all those thousands of students, the most important thing and that we have seen is that we are helping them change those lives and to having a great experience learning, and also for the teachers to have a great experience teaching math with Zoombers.
We also have recognitions internationally. In US, for example, we have been selected one of the 100 best startups innovators with Holon IQ. We have been also the first Mexicans to be selected, the first Mexican EdTech to be selected in SecLab, that's in Spain, in Madrid, and they are very focused on academic and educational content. So it's amazing to be there. We were very happy. We have mentors. Also, our amazing investors in Czech Republic, you must know they are experts in artificial intelligence and technology. They are all about innovation. So to be recognized in all of these places has been amazing. Also, UK, with the Educational App Store, we were ranked with 5 stars over there with a lot of experts. They have opinion of experts, of teachers and parents. We are so happy to be from Mexico and knocking all those doors and open them somehow. Being recognized so far away from here is amazing, and it's a great achievement that the whole team has.
And also, you recently established a subsidiary, a new company in the US, if I'm not mistaken. So could you please walk us through the logic of that big move?
Actually, we started in Mexico, and that's where the original company was made. But when we got the Czech investors, and we started working with them, and we started to grow with them, we saw that if we really wanted to expand to the market and to actually be able to grow faster, we needed to create the US company. So we made all the process of flipping the Mexican company to the US company. That's where LightEd Play comes in, because it becomes the holding company of Zoombers and everything that we are doing. And the idea behind that is that we will be able to access better funds to actually help us grow. We can actually access the US market much more simpler. It's very different to say, okay, I'm going to be a Mexican company selling to the US than to be a US company selling to the US. So that is something that can help us a lot into expanding into the US market. We have big plans to continue growing around that.
And then looking into the next 12 months or these years, so what are some of the big priorities? What are some of the key plans that you have ahead?
We are always improving our product, and we have some very exciting new functionalities that we are planning to put in with games and contents. But the actual key priority that we have for the next months is growth. We need to continue expanding into new schools, to new territories. We are seeking new distributors and trying to reach as much schools as we can. At the end, what will help us grow and have a greater impact is to continue growing.
And now, in terms of key focus areas, thinking about the type of distributors, the type of customers, like what's the best profile? Like talking about schools that are adopting digital technology, that are highly advanced. Is it for every school? Like in terms of distributors, is it distributors that are focused just on EdTech or serving schools? Or what is more or less the profile of companies that you're looking to connect with?
Around the schools, it's that they are open to technology. It's impressive to see that there are still some schools that are not quite open to technology, but I will say that is changing. There are a lot of schools that are much more open. We are seeking schools that are open to technology, that are also open to learn while having fun, and to actually want to change the results they have in math and to improve them. And around the distribution part, we are seeking for people that, as you mentioned, could be much more focused on the EdTech market, that already know a little bit about it, because I have to say that the market is a little bit different than, well, as each market has its own things, it's important to know how to move around the schools, how to work with the schedules and the sales periods that they have, because the schools move in their own timetable and they are open to receive proposals in certain time. So someone that already knows that and that knows how to sell to them will be a great distributor.
Also, we are very eager to know organizations and also networks of schools higher, not only the special school, but that they are very interested in innovation and the STEM education. That is very important. It has always been important, but is right now on the spotlight. And well, at the end, we are the M of the STEM. We're the mathematics. And that's the part that it's usually forgotten or it's harder for a lot of people to approach. And here's the solution. So there are so many other organizations that are interested in improving education around the world. For now, in Spanish and English speaking areas. So it works perfectly for both, and we would love to talk with them.
Well, you have big plans ahead. I think we can stay here talking, of course, a lot longer about LightEd Play. But before we wrap up, I would just like to learn from your side your best advice for other startup founders that would like to follow a similar path to yours.
I would say start with what you have. It's scary, but it's also amazing. So don't focus on what you're lacking right now. Start looking around, start with something, and just go for it.
And I will say that not everything is as good or as bad as it seems, because as startup founders, we have got really good news that we think that are going to change the world and everything is going to explode. And then the impact is not so great. But it's also the other way around. We have received some pretty bad news that we think that the world is falling apart and everything will go bad from that point. And the impact is also not that great. And we found out that we can continue. If the things are bad, you can overcome them. If you work in team, you continue working, you continue with persistence, and you actually focus on the most important things, there is no challenge you cannot overcome. You have to continue working with it. And when it's something very good, don't let it get into your head. Also think center yourself and say, okay, this could be very good, but I'm not going to go over my head. I gotta put it in the level that it is and continue working. At the end, that kind of effort, continuous working and persistence, teamwork and be together is what it will make you grow and will make you continue to have success.
Juan Carlos, Pam, thank you very much. It's been a fantastic conversation. I'm looking forward to learn more about the next big milestones that you have ahead. And I wish you all the best. And thank you once again for being here.
Thank you, Sergio. We were very happy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And thanks to you for joining us today. Please remember to subscribe via your favorite podcast app to be notified about new episodes and share with us your feedback. We would love to hear from you. Thank you also to the Maxpreneurs team, Valeria Morel, Héctor Barragán from Hyper Voltage, Francisco Jaimes, Pamela Elizalde, Katia Cruz, Rocío Marroquín. I am Sergio Chavez. See you next time.